Hello and welcome to a new tutorial on my channel. I'm Andrea and today we are making this gorgeous wrap. This is an almost rectangular wrap with a slight bias, so every time you wear it, it will hang a bit to the side. It's not a perfect rectangle, but we have two patterns in one now, so if you want to, you can make yours into a perfect rectangle. This wrap is made using Tunisian crochet, and it's a very beginner-friendly lace project because you only have a few rows to repeat in both versions. As you can see, it is made with a gradient cake. I used a Hobbii Twirls Deluxe cake for this shawl, and I recommend using something similar. You can wear this as a wrap around your shoulders or as a scarf like I'm doing right now. There are many ways to wear this, and it's especially awesome for special events. You could make it in a simple white yarn and it would be excellent for a wedding, for example. As you can see, it's quite long and it shows off all the color changes of the Twirls Deluxe yarn. This colorway is called Koi Diamond and it has inspired me to choose the name for this pattern. This wrap is called Imperial Topaz because of the beautiful color changes and the rows of eyelets that remind me of the facets of a processed gemstone. For this pattern, you will need a cake of yarn, similar to this one. This is Cotton King Twirls. You will need a Twirls Deluxe, which has twisted threads. This one isn't twisted, so I don't recommend using it for this pattern. If you're going to use a cotton-based yarn, you want it to be very twisted, so you can do Tunisian crochet with it. Alternatively, you can use a combination between cotton and acrylic, like this one. This is also from Hobbii. Or you can use a wool cake like this one. This is Infinity Shawl by Katya, and it has 600 meters per 150 grams, which is perfect for a regular shawl, and in this case a shorter wrap. You want to use the full 1000 meters of yarn from the Twirls Deluxe cake for a wrap as big as the one that I showed you. You also need a Tunisian crochet hook, 5 millimeters. You can either use one with a long shaft or one with a cable like this one. And you also need a tapestry needle and a pair of scissors to finish off. For this pattern, first you create the tassels and then leave them aside because you want to use both ends of the cake to make the tassels. And then from the rest of the cake you will make the body of the wrap. For this demonstration I will be using this cake of yarn and a thicker hook so that you can see my stitches. In this tutorial we will make a swatch of the main pattern, and then once you have made the swatch you will be able to follow the instructions in the pattern because they are identical. This is an example of a swatch made with cotton yarn. My swatch from this tutorial will be a different size, but I will show you exactly what you need to do to get a 10 by 10 centimeter swatch by using your cake yarn. Now take your 5 millimeter hook and your yarn and let's get started. We begin with a slip knot. First we twist the yarn with the short end in front, then we put 2 fingers through the loop and pick up the main yarn. Pull it through and then pull on the main yarn to close the slip knot around the hook. Now we will make 17 chains without pulling on the yarn. You need to leave these loops open so that you can work into them. We'll pick up 17 loops, which will be 16 Tunisian simple stitches and 1 last stitch. So just pick up loops in the back bumps of the chain and leave them on the hook. Now you should have 18 loops on your hook. To return, we chain 1, then yarn over, pull through 2 to the beginning of the row here. Now we're ready to begin the pattern. We will put 1 Tunisian simple stitch in each of these stitches and the last stitch in the last stitch here. So we have 16 Tunisian simple stitches and 1 last stitch. Just go with the hook behind the next vertical bar and pick up a loop. And at the end we go with the hook behind the 2 vertical bars here. Pick up a loop, chain 1, yarn over, pull through 2 to return to the beginning of the row. We have a repeat of yarn overs and then 2 Tunisian simple stitches together. So we put the hook behind 2 vertical bars, yarn over, pull up a loop. Again, yarn over and then 2 together. Yarn over, 2 together, and repeat this until we reach the last stitch. And here we put the hook behind these 2 vertical bars, pick up a loop, chain 1, yarn over, pull through 2 to return. We have to take into account that we made a yarn over here, so we put a full stitch, we put the hook through, pull up a loop, and then we have a Tunisian simple stitch, and we repeat this to the end of the row. Full stitch in the space, Tunisian simple stitch, full stitch, simple stitch. This part is the easiest of them all. Remember that there is no yarn over space at the end. We just put the last stitch behind these 2 vertical bars that cross. Chain 1, yarn over, pull through 2 to the beginning. And now we repeat these 3 rows, Tunisian simple stitch, yarn over, row, and then the one with full stitches 4 more times to finish the swatch. I will also show you how to continue if you want to make the rectangular version of the wrap. First we need to do the simple stitch row, so we pick up 16 Tunisian simple stitches. The last stitch and then chain 1, yarn over, pull through 2 to return. And if you want to make the non-curling version, now we put the 2 together in the first stitch, then we yarn over, 2 together, yarn over, 2 together, yarn over. When we reach the end, we have one more yarn over, don't forget about it, and then one last stitch. Chain 1, yarn over, pull through 2 to the beginning of the row. And now we make the third row in this pattern repeat. We pick up one Tunisian simple stitch, one full stitch, Tunisian simple stitch, full stitch, all the way to the last stitch. And in the last stitch we have the 2 vertical bars. Put the last stitch, chain 1, yarn over, pull through 2. With the thinner yarn and much thinner hook, this piece will be much smaller. Once you have 5 full repeats of the pattern for the gauge swatch, you should have a piece this big. This is 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters. What's important is that you cannot really see through the fabric on this side. You should not be able to see through it. But also it should not be very stiff. So the fabric needs to have some drape. To finish off the last row, you just slip stitch in each of these stitches. You should end your wrap on one of these rows, or you can make one more with the simple Tunisian stitches to mirror the first row. So to bind off, you pick up a loop and then slip it off. And you do this all the way to the end of the row. Don't forget about the last stitch. You also put a slip stitch in there, and then you cut the yarn and slip the end through this last stitch. This way you have a nicely bound off edge on the top here. When you're finished, take your tassels and use the tails from the tassels to attach them to the ends of the shawl. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more patterns and other crochet related content. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!